We have jerseys back in stock. Come see us today. Hey fans, make sure to follow the Prowlers on Facebook, Instagram, and X to keep up with the latest and greatest from your Huron Prowlers. Our social media accounts will give you an inside look at what's happening with the Prowlers. Get the inside scoop on our Facebook, Instagram, and X at Prowlers. Prowlers fans, are you cold? We got in new hoodies. Make sure to stop by the Prowlers store
Indiana Sentinels have made it all the way back out to Port Huron as they get ready to take on the Port Huron Prowlers here at McMorland Place for the fourth straight game between these two teams. Things got real chippy last weekend up in Columbus. We're excited for another one here today. Hello everyone, Andy Petzinger here at McMorland Place atop the Mike Emmerich broadcast booth to bring you Indiana Sentinels hockey and welcome you inside the Body Armor pregame show where we get ready for the first game of a two-game weekend set, the last two games that these two teams will play here in the regular season for the Port Huron Prowlers and the Indiana Sentinels. As we all know, last weekend these two teams played 3 games against one another. Friday night really did not go the Indiana Sentinels' way. They were shut out 5-0 on home ice. Really couldn't mount too much offensive pressure. The biggest firework of the game was a Blake Peavy fight just a couple seconds into the first period. But outside of that, really not much going on for the Sentinels on Friday. Saturday night was a much different story where the Sentinels outshot the Port Huron Prowlers by nearly double, but lost by a score of 3-1. Reed Cooper picking up the win for Port Huron in that game. He was brilliant in between the pipes, certainly saved their skins quite a few different times. However, the Sentinels didn't help themselves out a lot in that hockey game by giving up 3 late goals in periods in that hockey game, the last one being with under 2 minutes left to go in the third, a power play goal. Sunday was a whole lot of fun for everybody involved. The Sentinels were able to kick off the goal scoring by breaking their power play goal drought, which I don't think it's actually on the FBHL website listed as a power play goal, but it absolutely was. Brendan Bauer tipping in a shot from the wall by Ivan Panovanov into the back of the net for the first power play goal in 48 tries for the Indiana Sentinels to break that drought. They would go to a 1-1 tie halfway through the second period. Port Huron would take the lead on a Reggie Millette goal, and just before the period would end, it would go to Phil Tomacek as we take a look at the highlights from just the very end of the second period, because that shows a whole lot, to be quite honest with you. It was a phenomenal shift from this line, and Tomacek had at least 2 or 3 great chances before he finally did put the puck in the back of the net. As you see the Sentinels holding pressure in the offensive zone late in the second period. Puck's going to come around the wall. Romeo Terrain doing the right thing, same as Phil Tomacek. Tomacek right place, right time, deflects off his skate and in. And as they're celebrating, Romeo Terrain had a couple words for Johnson, who's laying on the ground there. That kind of a 10-minute misconduct and kind of started all the brouhaha that came after it. And then we've got fight number 1 right off the ensuing face-off. It's between Bozanchenko and Brian Parsons. These two guys were hacking and whacking at each other in the face-off circle. They went to center ice. It looked like Mike Tyson getting ready for a fight back in the 90s, but they sized each other up. Nobody really wanted to make the first move, and then finally Zinchenko leaning in, goes for it, and he lands a couple good punches here at the very beginning, gets a couple uppercuts, and then the boys just really have no regard for their own bodies at this point. They're just chucking them as fast as they could possibly go. Finally, Parsons able to get the helmet off Zinchenko, get a couple good licks in himself, and after a little while, the linesman able to come in and separate the boys. They weren't done yet. That was fight number 1. Fight number 2 comes directly after this, once again in the face-off circle. This time, it's going to be between Ethan Esposito and the team captain and head coach for the Port Huron Prowlers. That's not Brockway, pardon me. It's Matt Graham going at it against one another. So these two guys really throwing them pretty good. It was a quick fight as Esposito had lost his balance. And when you thought that it was all said and done from there, the coach is going at it. Everett Thompson and Chris Pollan, the associate head coach for the Port Huron Prowlers, going at it from in behind the benches, screaming at each other over the penalty boxes. Just a whole lot of energy going on inside the arena on Sunday. So a whole lot of crazy going on. I called it the Sunday Scaries for a reason there, but the Sentinels able to pull out the victory thanks to Noah Bradford getting his first FPHL goal, Same with Phil Tomacek, who tied it in the second period. But Bradford right at the top of the crease, able to pick up a rebound, scoop it home. The Sentinels pull out a 3-2 victory. Coming into this weekend, we had a couple of additions into the lineup. Seth Bacon was acquired last weekend. Cory Cunningham was acquired on Monday from the Twin City Thunderbirds, and I had a couple moments to catch up with him before the game. Andy Petzinger, pregame with new guy Cory Cunningham. Cory, welcome to the squad. You got traded on Monday, came in on Tuesday. Kind of a lot of things going on at once, but have you finally started to settle in here with the Sentinels?
Yeah, fully settled in. Looking forward to stepping out on the sheet tonight. Never been to Port Huron. I like it so far.
Have the boys been able to update you on what this rivalry has been up until this point? Did you get to watch the game on Sunday or anything?
No, I actually did not have a lot of time to study. I was kind of going into the new house and getting my stuff organized, but I've heard that this is quite the rivalry there is here, and the guys don't like each other too much, so
yeah,
should be exciting. I'm all for rivalries and a rival. Yeah. The atmosphere, yeah, the fans, I'm excited for it. Should be good, yeah.
It'll be a good one to get you acclimated with how the team rolls and everything. Let's tell the fans a little bit more about your background, not just FPHL, but juniors, college, and all that. You know, where did you start out?
I was in the BCHL. I played for my hometown team, Prince George Spruce Kings. I won a championship there. My 20-year-old year, I went and played in Trail, British Columbia as well. And then I was going to go to Merrimack. Didn't pan out there. Ended up playing Geneseo for about a semester, 8 games. Didn't really enjoy that, so I tried my pro career. Started in Danbury, really liked it. Got traded to Monroe. I had a heck of a time there. Yeah. All of my friends and family know that that's my favorite spot to be probably in this league. And then, I got traded to Twin Cities, and then now I'm here. It's been a crazy journey. Not too sure what exactly I'm doing wrong. Just a kid trying to work hard and play, and it's okay. I'm all about change, and see what we can do tonight.
I don't know if it's necessarily anything you're doing wrong, but more so you're a hot commodity. What would you say is the biggest thing that you bring to this squad? What's your biggest quality that you're bringing to the Indiana Sentinels?
It has been scoring in the days, but Everett said to me on the phone, I want to bring in a scorer. I know what you can do. I've seen it. I need somebody that believes in me. I need the coach that has the confidence in me, and Everett's shown that he's got that. So I showed up here. I'm invested. I want to be here. I want to be a weapon, and I want to be his guy. I want a coach that wants me to play for him, and hopefully Everett's that for me. I'm excited. Yeah.
Well, we're excited to have you, and we hope that you have a good game tonight. That's Cory Cunningham. We'll take it back up to the booth. All right, big thanks to Cory Cunningham for taking a moment to speak with us before the game. And, he had said it best. Everett Thompson called him and said, I know what you could be. I know you could put up the points. Coming into today's game, he's got 8 goals in 40 games played on the season. So having a little bit of an off year, but he's got a total of 54 goals in general in his FPHL career. He's 2 points away from 100, in his FPHL career. So he's a guy who could put the puck in the back of the net, and that's really something that the Sentinels are going to need a lot of help with. They've had a lot of trouble trying to find some depth scoring in this lineup. So with the guys from Davenport coming in last weekend and a couple of new additions coming in this weekend, we'll also have Nolan Dawson, who's going to be coming back as well. He skated today. Everett Thompson and the coaching staff just wanted to give him a little bit more time to acclimate and get back to the USA time, as he was traveling out in Finland for a little bit of time as well. So before we step aside, I want to take a look at who our villain of the day is. Let's take a look at the visitor spotlight. It's going to be Blake Anderson, who played very well last weekend. He had 2 goals and 3 assists in those 3 games against the Indiana Sentinels last weekend. In total, he's got 3 goals, 9 assists, and 12 points overall. So he is certainly somebody to keep an eye out for, number 94 for the Port Huron Prowlers. All right, we'll step aside real quick for a commercial break and come back with your 3 keys to the game, the national.
Scotty's entire team, from the most simplistic things to the most complex, are phenomenal. They're informative, responsive, and something that's important to me, they're honest.
As a business owner myself, I know how important it is to protect your livelihood. I'm Scott Weatherford, owner of Richard Hawes Insurance. Give me a call today and we can chat about how an independent agent can save your business money.
Welcome back to McMorran Place as we get closer and closer to the start of this hockey game. This is just about the very end of the Body Armor pregame show. And the three keys to tonight's game for me, first and foremost, I mentioned it last weekend, the neutral zone was a big, big change for the Indiana Sentinels going from Saturday to Sunday's game. They really condensed the neutral zone, and the Prowlers had no answer for it. It was a big dump and chase game for the Prowlers. They couldn't get set up inside the offensive zone as easy. So if the Sentinels are able to do the same thing today, they're going to have much more time in the offensive zone for themselves. My second key is to roll all four lines, and make sure that everybody's getting a chance to get integrated in this hockey game. Try to stay out of the penalty box as much as you can. Get everybody rolling in this game. Get everybody feeling good. And my third is play smart. We all know what happened last weekend. We all know that it's going to carry over into this weekend at some point. But don't take that extra punch. Don't take that extra penalty. Don't put your team down if you don't need to. All right, let's send it on downstairs for the national anthem. All right, very well done on our national anthem. Let's get to your starting lineups for the Indiana Sentinels. The starting forwards, Bozinchenko, Jonas Lees, and Noah Bradburn will be your three forwards starting out today's game. On the back end, Richie Colarusso paired up with the new guy, Seth Bacon, making his Sentinels debut, and Chris Kerr in between the pipes. Your goalie matchup today, Chris Kerr in the pipes. He is 3-6-2 on the season with a 362 goals against, 899 save percentage against these Port Huron Prowlers. He is 0-2-1 with a 392 and an 888 in 3 games played. Reed Cooper on the other side, 20 wins, 8 losses, and 1 shootout loss. He's got a 232 goals against and a 928 save percentage with 2 shutouts. Every single category that you see there, he is in the top 3 in the league. So Reed Cooper in between the pipes. As I mentioned, he played the last game. His last game was on Saturday against the Indiana Sentinels, and he was brilliant in net. He was one of the main factors for Port Huron to pull out that victory. Something to keep an eye out for here. Little Birdie told me that Richie Colarusso and Alex Johnson might have some unfinished business. Richie Colarusso now moving up to the wing spot. Maybe we see a little fisticuffs before the game even gets started here. I know there were some rumors between he and Johnson going at it with one another, so they are going to be paired up right next to each other. Let's see what happens as we get ready for puck drop. The first period of Indiana Sentinels hockey is always brought to you by Sprague Hotel Developers. Drop of the puck, and Colarusso goes right after Johnson. Here we go. Couple uppercuts from Colarusso, getting him in the back of the head, trying to drag him down, pull his helmet off. Johnson has his fist cocked as Colarusso on the ground, but the linesmen jump in real quick and say, I don't think so. That is that. All right, well, there you go. Just like it was on Sunday and on Friday as well, a fight right off the draw. Colarusso and Johnson going at it. Yeah, there was some rumors on whether or not those two would go. And there they went. So Pavlov jumps on the ice, and now we've got Bradburn going now against Austin Federley. Bradburn's got family in the stands, wants to show off. Here we go. Bradburn in his 4th FPHL game gets him with the left and drops him right away. Oh, Noah Bradburn, where'd that come from? We're 5 seconds in. We've got 2 fights, and Noah Bradburn, a lefty, taking out Austin Federley. Well, you thought it was done on Sunday. It's not. This rivalry is hot and ready to go. All right, here we go again. More guys going at it. Seth Bacon now jumping in. Welcome to the Indiana Sentinels. Bacon and Ben Brockway going toe-to-toe at center ice. Bacon with the right. Brockway with the right to answer. Bacon's got his bucket off. Bacon with an uppercut. There we go. Get him down to the ground. Seth Bacon. Welcome to the club. And now we've got more stuff going on in between the benches. Finally, we get that settled down. Zinchenko now pushing and shoving with Jamie Bussell. So we've got 15 penalty minutes on the board already in just 6 seconds of hockey time. It looks like they let the clock run a little bit longer than that. They're reading 19:42 on the clock. So Bo and Bussell, John with one another, as Everett Thompson getting a explanation from the referee. There's a door that's behind the bench that seemed to have opened, and Everett Thompson wasn't too thrilled about it. Now the puck drops were underway, and this is the longest stretch of hockey that we might see for a while, so lock in and get ready to go here, folks. Parsons at the blue line, throwing this one towards the net, didn't get a lot on it. Panamano comes out to the neutral zone where he's stepped on by Dylan Marty, who's back in the lineup after being on the IR for a while. Keep your head up in this hockey game, folks. Holy cow. Here comes Lockhart over the line, dragging around Pavlov, throwing one on net, save made, rebound. Jumps right out to the far circle, and it gets poked out by Zinchenko out to the neutral zone. Favaro will move it up ahead for Reggie Millette. Had that roll off the end of his stick as he dumps it in deep. Pavlov there. Gets rolled around the wall. Oregon puts it right back down low. Reggie Millette holding on to it, bringing it up the wall, trying to throw it to the middle of the ice. Bormanis takes that one away, moves it up for Peavy. Try to get around Favaro, but that's stripped off his stick. Peavy sticks with it, though. We'll drop it to Merrick Tortorella. His shot from the point. That one's gloved down and held by Reed Cooper. And if you can hear, the poor PA announcer is still trying to go over all the penalties that have happened in this game so far. He's going to have a hard time trying to catch up. Anderson on the draw here against Jamie Bucell. Face-off controlled here by the Prowlers. It's Lockhart in his own end. Lockhart will move it to Bucell. That was off the outside of his right skate. It didn't look like he was prepared for that pass. Rolled off the end of his skate and into Sentinels territory where Maximus Merrick Tortorella moving it up the middle of the ice looking for Bauer. Could not hit him, and it gets dumped right back into Sentinels territory where Romeo Terrain spinning away from a check of Anderson, who's able to push that puck free. Merrick Tortorella now in behind his own net. Looking over. He finds Stoichevsky, who bounces it out to the neutral zone. Bauer will dump it in. Merrick Tortorella jumping in from the blue line. Remember, folks, he's not a forward at this stage. He has been playing back at the point for the last 3 games. Well, 2 games as he missed Friday's game due to an illness, but he is playing back at the blue line. Here's Bucell dropping it off to Lackney on the far side. Lackney trying to wait for the players coming off the line change. He'll cycle it down low to Nick Favaro. Spinorama move, try to backhand that one to the net, and it goes right through the crease and out the other side. Pulled the old Denny Savard on Vlad Pavlov and nearly got a shot on net. Oregon will bounce it up the wall and out to center where Panovanov waiting for it. Try to dump that one in deep. Lackney gets in the way as it's stripped off his stick, and there's Cory Cunningham in his first shift in a Sentinel sweater. Panovanov, he'll dump it in. Also takes a huge hit as he does so. That one also coming from Dylan Marty, who's trying to get himself back into this lineup by throwing the body. He's got a chance now walking in and shooting one that Kerr takes right in between the eyes to knock down. Cleared out to the blue line. Parsons will send it in deep. The only one there to pick it up is Panovanov. Zinchenko waiting on the far wall. Cross ice pass. Millette able to knock that down out of midair and keep it in the zone. Reggie Millette spinning away from Panovanov coming up the wall. Will drop it back down low to Cumbus. Try to cycle that one, but Peavy read it. Stripped off a Pavlov's stick. Here's Millette in the slot. His wrist shot was blocked. The rebound. Back to Millette at the circles. He'll circle the wagon, come up to the top of the blue line. His wrist shot goes off a leg to the wall. Bouncing puck. Vlad Pavlov there to carry. He'll use his partner Panovanov, who banks it out the boards and up ahead for Zinchenko waiting at the blue line. He'll dump it in deep. Sentinels will get a line change. Well, if you joined us late, folks, you've missed 3 fights within the first 5 seconds of this hockey game. Richie Colarusso started it all off with Alex Johnson, and it kind of tumbled from there, and Bradburn got a left-handed shot in that knocked down Austin Federley. And I'll be honest with you, I can't even remember who that last fight was with. I know Bacon was part of it. I don't know who he fought against, but we've got 3 guys in the box on either side. 15 total penalty minutes. Here's a pass up ahead for Anderson. Trying to get to the net. Good job by Romeo Terrain to cut him off. Now Lackney in the neutral zone was stepped up on in the center ice by Stoichevsky. Lackney once again stepped up by Tortorella. Prowlers now finally able to get it in deep on the 3rd try. Maximus Merrick Tortorella in behind his own net. Spinning away from a check. We'll find Barra on the far side. Needs a little help from Romeo Terrain to try to clear this puck out. High through the air it goes. And into Prowler hands. Matt Graham will leave it off to Brett Lockhart. That's banked up ahead for to Cumbus, was behind him, and Tortorella will strip that and flip it up ahead. Cunningham getting in over the line. Cunningham on the backhand. Good poke check by Parsons at the last second as Cunningham trying to settle that puck down. Unable to let a shot go. Good hit by Tomacek. Inside the offensive zone. Puck comes back to the Sentinels' end. Pavlov's pass to the middle of the ice. Finds Cunningham. He'll chip it up ahead. Good hit in behind. Forces the puck free. Pavlov at the blue line. The snapshot goes wide of the net. Tomacek back up top for Pavlov. D-to-D. Panavanov's wrister. That gets blocked on the way through. Anderson sweeps it away to the far wall. Cunningham wins that stick battle. Throwing it through the slot. Up to Panavanov at the point. His wrister blocked by Millette. That goes out to the neutral zone. Good pressure there from the Sentinels. Now Millette trying to answer. The only one inside the offensive zone for Port Huron. Panavanov able to knock him down to the ice. Joining the fray now, Artu Haikala. He'll throw it down to the corner. Bucell will now wrap it around near side. There's Blake Anderson to the bottom of the circle. Trying to send that one down low, comes right back to him. Once again, a spin around a backhand pass that ends up finding Bucell. He'll hit the blue line here for Parsons, jumps over his stick and out to center ice. 7 minutes gone here in period number one. We're scoreless. This one bounced all the way down. Icing waved off. Peavy on the forecheck. Able to knock Parsons off the puck, but referee skates got in the way. So the Prowlers regain control. It's Anderson motoring through the neutral zone. Takes a good hit there from Romeo Terrain to knock him off the puck. Peavy back the other direction. Dropping it off to the middle of the ice for Bormanis. He leaves it for Tortorella. That pass it escapes. Clearing attempts, Zinchenko able to hold it in for a moment. Finds Peavy. Peavy now dropping it back to Bo Zinchenko. Walking down, shooting one from the bottom of the circles, and a good stop there from Cooper. Zinchenko making sure that he's awake, and Romeo Terrain, a shot from the wall, also gloved down by Reed Cooper, and we get a whistle stopping play. 12:11 left to play in period number one. We're scoreless, but we've got lots of fisticuffs.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm over in section.
Welcome back to McMorran Plays. Andy Petzinger here on the Sentinels Hockey Network. Let's catch everyone up to speed as to what's happened here in this hockey game. It all started out with Richie Colarusso going at it with Alex Johnson just off the faceoff. Both of those guys had a predetermined fight. Didn't look like Johnson was ready to go, to be quite honest with you, but Richie Colarusso in his typical Massachusetts style said, I don't care if you're ready, we're going. Then it moved on. The next face-off attempt, that was another fight, this time in between Austin Federley and Noah Bradburn. Bradburn, being a left-hander, I don't think Federley was ready for it. He took one right on the lips, and down he went. Final fight was between Seth Bacon and Ben Brockway, and those two guys were able to duke it out for a little while. Bacon lost his bucket after a hot second, and the linesman stepped in. So after that, everything kind of cooled down. Everybody back out of the penalty boxes as well, so we are back at quote-unquote full strength here in this hockey game. As Broadburn tried to backhand that one towards the front of the net, intercepted by Johnson. And Port Huron will control once more. Reggie Millette from behind his own goal. He'll start moving through the neutral zone. Stopped up at the blue line. He had two white sweaters around him, Colarusso and Cunningham, not allowing him entry into the offensive zone. Now Millette once more, this time at the red line, will try to dump and chase after this one. Bacon there. He'll take it away, move it along for Bradburn. That's what I was talking about, the neutral zone. Make him dump it in and chase after it. Gives these Sentinels an opportunity to get this puck out and get some offensive chances, and now they're going to get an offensive zone draw here as that dump in rolls in on goal, and Cooper, they able to hang on to it. Shots right now reading 4-2 in favor of the Sentinels. Face-off going to the right-hand side of Reed Cooper. Millette on the draw against Peavy. Millette able to win this battle. Bobby Price, his pass for Millette in the neutral zone, just a little out of his reach, and Panavanov will grab it and find some space through center ice. Enter the zone, dropping it off. Tomacek's wrister deflects off of a leg and ends up going into the netting, out of play for another whistle. Face-off will stay inside the Prowlers zone. One of the things that I noticed last weekend for the Sentinels was they did a very good job in the face-off circle, specifically on Saturday and on Sunday night, as PB gets another face-off win here. That shot from Panavanov looked like he double-clutched it, and it gets cleared back down all the way. Icing waved off. We play on. But the Sentinels doing a very good job in the face-off circle against the Prowlers, and that's something that you always want to be sure that you're trying to win that battle. Never want to be playing from behind the 8-ball, right from the drop of the puck. Lackney dumping and chasing, can't get around Panavanov. Federley in behind the net. Gets wrapped up the wall. Brockway trying to shimmy shake around Bormanis, sends it down low. Taken by Matt Graham. He throws it out to the blue line. Wrist shot here, kicked out by Kerr. That shot coming from Parsons at the point. Graham once more with it. Try to cycle that one for Lackney. One hands it out to the point. Wrist shot on goal. Kerr able to make that save. He'll jump on top of it and hang on. We get a little bit more pushing and shoving. Romeo Terrain and Lackney tied up in behind the net. And the referees will separate those guys. Shout out our referees today. Maybe throw up a prayer for them. Logan Wheatcamp and Steve Goody are our referees, and our linesmen are Colin Pons and Brandon Batens. I'm sure they were well informed and well aware of what they were walking into today. At least with the face-off win, the pass around the wall, though, from Merrick Tortorella was read by Anderson, nearly intercepted it. However, the Sentinels gain control once more, and we'll bounce this one out to center ice. Taken back by Johnson. D-to-D he goes with Brett Lockhart. Now Johnson once more. Prowlers trying to find a way to get through this neutral zone. Once again, unable to. Here's Pavlov. He's got a man open on the far side. That's Cunningham shooting one, and a good stop there from Cooper, coming out to the top of his crease to make that save and give up no rebound. Everybody finally out of the penalty box. We've got no score in this hockey game halfway through the first period. You're watching the Indiana Sentinels on the Sentinels Hockey Network.
Vitamin water helps keep me hydrated. Encore. After encore. After encore. Next thing you know, it felt just like this. Come on. Vitamin water from New York.
In Port Huron, Well, we've already seen 30 total penalty minutes between these two teams in the first 3 seconds of this hockey game. But take a look at what these two teams have done over the course of this season. Back on the 14th of November, a grand total of 113 penalty minutes in that game. And the Prowlers had 66-47 for Indy in that game. And then you look at last Sunday, 106 PIMs, pardon me, in that hockey game. And for that, it was nearly identical, 55 for Indiana and 51 for Port Huron. So we knew what we were getting into when we started this hockey game, and I'm interested to see exactly where the PIMs lay after this game is over. Bacon, nice job to knock that puck down in the neutral zone. Walk it in and fire one off the tip of the glove of Cooper and in behind the net. Now, clearing attempt by Favaro, bounces off the wall and out to the neutral zone. Bacon once more will dump this in on net. Cooper plays it off to the side. Favaro there again. Will flip it high through the air. Bacon able to knock that one away. Hits off of Millette. Offsides here on Port Huron if they touch it. And we get a whistle anyway. And I believe that they're going to call a hand pass here on the Sentinels, even though this hit off of Reggie Millette. Well, we've got officials getting together and talking about it, making sure that everybody's on the same page. And this puck certainly hit Millette on the top of the head, so hopefully the officials are able to get this one right and move it out to the neutral zone. Doesn't look like that's going to happen. Port Huron's going to get an offensive zone face-off out of this. Now the thing is, that was the back official, the back referee who's making that call, even though the official that was in the neutral zone didn't call anything. So I'm not sure what he saw. That was different from the closer official, but we digress, and Anderson prepares for a face-off against his nameplate counterpart, Blake Anderson. Sentinels get it out of the zone. Bounced up ahead. Bauer trying to chase after it. Parsons gets there first. And it gets bounced out to the Prowlers' blue line. Sentinels are offside. They've got to tag back up here. Cleared out by Parsons. He'll go across ice. And dumped in by Bucell, who fans on that dump in. Goes right to Panovanov. Quick transition by the Sentinels as Zinchenko enters the offensive zone. Gets stopped along the wall. Panovanov able to keep it in for a brief moment. Then it gets squirted back out to the neutral zone, where Lease will leave it off for Zinchenko. Back to Jonas Lease going in on the line. Backdoor feed. Oh, yeah, Cunningham waiting backdoor. But Cunningham, if he's a left-handed shot, or right-handed shot, pardon me, he's able to put that in the back of the net. Panavanov's long wrister gets blocked and is cleared by the Prowlers. Good setup there by Jonas Lease and Bo Zinchenko to try to get Cunningham on the back door. He was all alone, but the pass just a little bit behind him. Now Cunningham again will leave it for Bo Zinchenko. Up top, Pavlov, his wrist shot redirected on net. The rebound was there, and a good stop by Cooper as he's able to pick up that puck and reel it back in. That puck got tipped on the way through. I'm not sure if it was Zinchenko or Cunningham, both men in the area. But a really good shift by this Zinchenko, Cunningham, and Lease line. And we get an offensive zone draw out of it. Face off to the right of Cooper. Peavy wins another one, thrown out to the blue line. Merrick Tortorello, D-to-D for Pavlov, the one-timer. Lackney right in the lane, able to block that. On the far wall, Bormana stripped of it. Graham coming out through the neutral zone, dropping it to Federley, lost it in the skates of Lackney, who then goes shoulder to shoulder with Tomacek. Comes back to Federley. He'll leave it off for Graham. Now Lackney in behind the net. He's got Graham in front, can't get it to him. Lackney trying to circle the wagons, unable to do so. Taken by Bormanis. His clearing attempt, though, hit Lackney's stick and stays inside the zone. Matt Graham up to the point. Favaro. He takes a hit there from Peavy. Bouncing puck. Graham still able to keep this one in. A lot of puck luck here for the Prowlers. Finally, Sentinels get it out. Bormanis will dump this one in. Knocked aside by Cooper. Line change for the Sentinels. Millette has that roll off the end of his stick. And Richie Colarusso will find Dalton Anderson, who's stopped in center ice. And I believe we are going to end up getting an offside call here on the Prowlers. So a scoreless game so far, but the Sentinels doing a lot of what they did last Sunday, clogging up the neutral zone and generating a lot of really good offensive zone chances here early in the hockey game. This one's dumped in. We get another whistle stopping play with 6:28 left to play in period number 1. Shots right now reading 8-4 in favor of the Indiana Sentinels. We'll get another chance here as there's an offensive zone draw coming up. Once again to the right-hand side of Reed Cooper. Cooper had a quick stint last month in the SPHL. There's a wrist shot from the blue line. Good stop there from Cooper. He's able to kick that one out. Long shot from Panovanov. Clearing attempts. Zinchenko able to keep it alive for a moment before it's finally pushed out to center by DeCumbus. 1-on-3. Trying to look for the late man. There's Parsons. He'll send it in behind the net. Anderson there to pick it up for the Prowlers. His pass out to the blue line. Brockway, his wrister. Good stop there from Kerr. Able to see that one through a screen. Now Lease will send it to the far side. Gets wrapped back around to the near corner where Terrain now battles with Heikkila along the wall. Pops free to Anderson, going back down low for Heikkila. Terrain in the lane there. They able to take that away from him. Then he's knocked to the ice by Anderson. Terrain getting the last laugh, though, able to put stick on puck and knock that one out to the neutral zone. Bucell, quick transition right back in, leaving it for Heikkila. Can't get around Panovanov. Nice job by Panovanov to knock it away from him. Now Dalton Anderson flipping this one out to center ice. Was hoping for a streaking Cunningham, but getting in the way of that is Johnson. Here's Heikkila shooting one, a headhunter. Wraps around the wall and bounces out to the neutral zone and touched by Port Huron. We'll get an offsides here on the Prowlers. Good start to this hockey game for Indiana. Really pushing the pace. Could have been very easily after those first 3 fights to let the crowd kind of take hold of this game and the Prowlers getting all the momentum, but the Sentinels bench was going absolutely crazy during those 3 fights, so they certainly got a good momentum boost out of it. Here's Bradburn. He'll dump this one in deep. Favaro there trying to chip this one out, unable to do so. Comes back to Oregon. Now he'll move it through center ice for Graham. Graham, stick check just inside the blue line. Good stick there. Merrick Tortorella using that big 6'5" frame, or 6'2" frame, pardon me, to knock that away from Matt Graham. Here's Tortorella again from in behind his net. We'll wrap it around the wall. Phil Tomacek, who was arguably the best forward for the Sentinels on Sunday, was short of center when he dumped this one in. And we'll get an icing call on the Sentinels and the very last timeout for the first period. We'll step aside. We're tied at 0 here in Port Huron. We'll be right back at McMorran Place right after this.
What's in your decision to donate blood? More than you know. One donation can save lives and fuel research to save many more. A few moments of your time sparks moments like these and these. Hope cures, empowers, and strengthens us. Hope is in all the moments that matter, and it's in all of us. Versity Blood Centers. Hope, it's in our blood.
back in McMorrin Place. 0-0 is your score through the first 15-plus minutes of this hockey game. As we all know, Noah Bradburn, Brendan Bauer, and Peter Stoichevsky, all from the Davenport University Panthers. And Davenport not too far away from here, only 173 miles, about a 2.5-hour drive. So I mentioned that Noah Bradburn has some family in town. I would imagine some of those other boys either do or will have some family coming out east to Port Huron to watch their boys play. Wrist shot from the blue line here from Johnson. Nearly took off the head of Reggie Millette. And now Merrick Tortorella through center ice. Over the line, dragging to the middle of the ice, but a late offsides call holds up Tortorella. And we'll get another whistle. With 4:06 to go here in period number 1. This line here for the Sentinels has gotten them their best chances in this hockey game. That's Lysenchenko and Cunningham. Lys winning another faceoff. Cunningham, that pass towards him was a little too out of his reach, and Lockhart coming in to take a wrist shot that deflects off a leg and out of play. That was a long pass there going D to D between Colarusso and Cunningham, and Colarusso looking at Cunningham saying, hey, that's my bad, didn't get everything on it. Draw coming inside the Sentinels, and Millette and Lys will duel it out once more. Once again, Jonas Lys control on the face-off circle here for the Sentinels early in this hockey game. There's a bank pass up ahead for Cunningham. He wins the race, saving icing. Lys now dropping it off for Cunningham. His pass out to the blue line was taken away by Reggie Millette. And he'll swing it back and try to set up the breakout. Millette unable to get through Cunningham the first time. Will double back. Now has Zinchenko all over him, so he'll just drop it on down to Alex Johnson. So you see once again the neutral zone for the Sentinels doing its work as this one gets deflected up and out of play. A neutral zone draw coming for Indiana. Clogging up that neutral zone, not allowing much space for the Prowlers to do what they need to do what they like to do, which is really get a lot of speed coming through center ice. Right now, the only option that they have is to try to flip this one through the air and dump and chase, and that's a 50-50 ball game, and the Sentinels are winning those 50-50 races right now. Here's Bucell. He'll pull up and go out to the far point, long wrist shot. Good stop there by Bradburn as he went down on one knee and got the leg out. That's a kick save that any goaltender is going to love. Cleared out to the neutral zone as we get a whistle stopping play. Conversation happening between Bormanis and Bucell just in front of the Sentinels bench. Now Bucell being told he's got to go. Bormanis still talking. Got 3 officials in the way here. Doesn't look like any penalties are going to end up being called here. Well, it looks like we are going to have one. It's going to be Marty who's heading to the box, and he's going to go for boarding, pardon me. So for the first time today, we get the Haas Insurance power play getting ready to go to work. Was not counted as a power play in the as a power play goal, pardon me, in the Sunday game, but the Sentinels able to tap one home. That being from Brendan Bauer at the very top of the crease. Right now they'll start out with the Bauer grouping with him, Blake Peavy, and Tomacek up front, Panovanov, and Stoichevsky on the back end. So Big draw here for the Sentinels as Peavy tried to win that one back, knocked off his stick, goes right to Lackney. He'll backhand that one down, and the Sentinels will regroup. Sentinels will have to double back as they had some trouble entering the zone. That's labeled as a charging call, not a boarding. Tomacek cross ice, hits Stoichevsky. He'll leave it for Peavy. Dropping it to Stoichevsky, who wraps it around to the far side. Tomacek there. Needs a little help. Peavy there to grab it. Blake Peavy walking it up the wall. Stoichevsky has Anderson all over him, and Anderson able to clear that one down the length. Kerr trying to catch the Prowlers at the change. We had too many on the ice there for a moment. They got away with it. Bounce off the wall there, going right towards the front. Luckily for Port Huron, they had Lockhart there, and no Sentinels around. It gets cleared the length of the ice. Under a minute gone on this power play. Approaching the final minute of the first period. Cunningham will dump it in. His second power play unit has Colarusso with Pavlov, Zinchenko, Cunningham, and at the front of the net, Bormanis. Here's Colarusso. Cross ice for Zinchenko. Backdoor for Cunningham. Oh, just rolled over his stick. Now Colarusso up top for Pavlov. Cunningham at the circle. Back up top, Colarusso. Holding, shooting, one blockered away there by Cooper. Zinchenko, a bad angle shot, hits the back of the net. They pop it free. Cunningham to the blue line. 20 seconds to go on the power play. D-to-D, Pavlov. Now Zinchenko around one. Check has Cunningham far side. Cunningham shooting one, shrugged away by Cooper. Rebound back to Cunningham. That one goes off a stick and out of play. So the Sentinels, a couple chances with this second power play unit coming out. Unable to finish them. Two shots there from Cory Cunningham, trying to get on the board in his Sentinels debut. We have 10 seconds left to go on the power play. Everett Thompson will throw out Anderson, Bradburn, and Bauer with Bacon and Merrick Tortorella on the back end. Face-off win, and Bradburn tried to put it out to the blue line. Taken away, though, by Federley. And he'll flip this one all the way into Sentinel territories. Both teams are now back at full strength. Flipped out to center ice, bouncing puck. Tortorella trying to knock that one down and kick it to his stick, but couldn't settle it. And now comes all the way back into Sentinel territory as Marty gets crunched along the wall there. Kicked out by Bacon to center ice. Half a minute left to play here in the first period. Parsons will bank it off the wall. Up ahead for Bobby Price. He'll chip and chase. Price, stick check there by Pavlov as he had Anderson going to the front of the net. Millette back to the far side. Oregon pinching in. His shot goes right through the crease and out the other side and will bounce out to the neutral zone, where it's taken by DeCumbus. He's trying to one-up it ahead. Anderson shooting one. That one goes wide on the glove side of Kerr. Wraps around the wall. PB there. Will clear it out to the point. Oregon. His long shot blocked. Last second try for DeCumbus. No more time on the clock, and our period will end. One period in the book. 0-0 is your score. Shots are 11-5 after one period of play. Started out with 3 fights before we could really get anything going. It's labeled as 3 seconds in. A fight between Richie Colarusso and Alex Johnson. They went toe-to-toe. Colarusso getting the upper hand on that one. And as those guys went to the box, they set up for the next face-off, and off came the gloves between Noah Bradburn and Austin Federley, and Bradburn, a lefty, was able to get one in right on the chin of Austin Federley and sent him to the deck. His first fight in the FBHL for Noah Bradburn. That got a huge rise out of the Sentinels bench. And then we ended up on the next face-off attempt. One more fight, this time in between Seth Bacon and Ben Brockway. Those two exchanged blows, and that was really the only one that was close to a tie. As the Sentinels certainly picked up the fighting victories on the first 2 fights. Both Bacon and Brockway were able to trade a couple of their own. The only other penalty in that period came at the very end of the period to Dylan Marty. A charging call that the Sentinels had a couple of opportunities on, but Reed Cooper making a couple of really huge saves. We will step aside for intermission break and be back with our look around the league and a recap of that first period right after this. You're watching Indiana Sentinels hockey on the Sentinels Hockey Network.
His entire team, from the most simplistic things to the most complex, are phenomenal. They're informative, responsive, and something that's important to me, they're honest.
As a business owner myself, I know how important it is to protect your livelihood. I'm Scott Weatherford, owner of Richard Hawes Insurance. Give me a call today and we can chat about how an independent agent can save your business money.
What's in your decision to donate blood? More than you know. One donation can save lives and fuel research to save many more. A few moments of your time sparks moments like these. And these. Hope cures, empowers, and strengthens us. Hope is in all the moments that matter. And it's in all of us. Versity Blood Centers. Hope. It's in our blood.
We welcome you back to McMorran Place in Port Huron, where the Indiana Sentinels and the Port Huron Prowlers have skated to a 0-0 tie through the first 20 minutes of the first period. Shots, as you can see, 11-5 in favor of the Indiana Sentinels through that first period of play. And I'd mentioned it in my 3 keys to the game, is my number 1 being take care of the neutral zone as you did on Sunday. The Sentinels have done that for the most part here in the first period, and you could see the frustration on Port Huron. They're unable to move through the neutral zone like they want to. They start from their own end, and they try to move through center ice with speed to put the defending team on their heels, and the Sentinels aren't allowing them to do that here today, and it's making the Prowlers either have to double back and try to go once more or hit the red line, attempt to hit the red line and dump it in. But there's been plenty of chances where the Sentinels have stepped up at center ice and stripped the puck before they can even do that. And most times when they do end up dumping the puck into the Sentinels' end, they're either short of center, causing an icing, or the Sentinels go back and grab it and they exit out their zone real quick. So you do that, you take care of the neutral zone, take care of your defensive zone. You've got plenty of chances offensively to try to take care of business, and that's why you see the Sentinels leading 11-5 in the shot category through the first period of play. Like I mentioned, there's been a lot of fisticuffs in this hockey game. 30 total penalty minutes in the first 3 seconds of this game, as the bad blood from Sunday has boiled over to today. And really that bad blood on Sunday has just been percolating all season long, and there have been times where we see it boil over, and today it boiled over before we could really even get underway. But after that, it was really good action back and forth. There was a good opportunity, or a good couple of moments where we didn't have a stoppage of play for maybe 4 or 5 minutes or so. So once the boys got all the fighting out of their belt, all the aggression out of their bodies, they were able to go back and forth in the first period. So we are scoreless through the first 20 minutes of play, which when the Sentinels go through 20 minutes without giving up a goal, and when they're tied, they are 0-4-1 on the season. But as I mentioned before, it's important that they end up getting that first goal of the game. When they score first, they've got 7 out of their 10 wins on the season. So the Sentinels wanting to make sure that they put home that first tally of the hockey game. Let's take a quick look at what's going around the FPHL today. So we've got a full slate in the Federal Prospect Hockey League. As I said here, 0-0 through 1 period of play. And out in South Carolina, Athens and PD skating to a 1-1 tie late in the first period. Blue Ridge, after a tough weekend last weekend, going up against Danbury. Danbury split with Binghamton last weekend, and Danbury carries a 1-0 lead in the first period there. The Battle of New York ensues as Binghamton and Watertown are tied up at 1 through the first period of play. Seen it often with the Black Bears and Watertown, where it seems like it's going to be a close game for a little while there, and all of a sudden Binghamton able to put home 5, 6, 7 more goals to really blow Watertown out of the water. So we'll see what ends up happening in that hockey game. Monroe and Columbus, 2-0 in favor of the Moccasins out in Georgia. That's in the first period, about midway through period number 1. And not yet started, Twin City going out to Baton Rouge to take on the Zydeco, and Topeka taking on the Biloxi Breakers, who are trying to get their first win in a very, very long time. The Biloxi Breakers, they've gotten their first win just the other day. They are now 1-9 in their last 10, 5-35-1 on the season. So Topeka trying to make up for their defeat the other day. They've lost one of their top players in Elijah Wilson, as he has now made his way out to PD to finish off a trade that was made earlier on in the season. So we'll see what happens with Topeka as well as the season rolls on. All right, we are through one period of play here at McMorran Place between the Indiana Sentinels and the Port Huron Prowlers. We'll be back with period number 2 right after this. You're watching Sentinels Hockey on the Sentinels Hockey Network.
Scott and his entire team, from the most simplistic things to the most complex, are phenomenal. They're informative, responsive, and something that's important to me, they're honest.
As a business owner myself, I know how important it is to protect your livelihood. I'm Scott Weatherford, owner of Richard Hawes Insurance. Give me a call today and we can chat about how an independent agent can save your business money.
What's in your decision to donate blood? More than you know. One donation can save lives and fuel research to save many more. A few moments of your time sparks moments like these. And these. Hope cures, empowers, and strengthens us. Hope is in all the moments that matter. And it's in all of us. Versity Blood Centers. Hope. It's in our blood.
Welcome back to Port Huron as the second period is about to get underway between the Prowlers and your Indiana Sentinels. Andy Petzinger here on the Sentinels Hockey Network. It's been a fun start to this hockey game, fun first 20 minutes. that the Indiana Sentinels, like I said, have really carried a good amount of the momentum. We'll see if Port Huron is able to find another gear here, or if Indiana is just going to continue to climb up the mountain with a period of the long change. This is typically where we start to see fatigue starting to set in, usually around the 10, 8-minute mark of the second period is when you start to see some fatigue start to creep in for both sides. So we'll see what ends up happening there. Second period of Indiana Sentinels hockey is brought to you by Coca-Cola of Columbus. Sentinels will control in their own end to kick off the period. It's Seth Bacon from behind his own net. He'll throw it up towards center ice, banked up the wall by Bradburn. A little too far out of his reach as Johnson is there to take it away. Now Colarusso in his own zone. Looked to go over to Lease, but Lease was a little too in tight. Now Federley's shot, good kick save there by Kerr at the top of his crease. He only faced 5 shots in the first period. Sometimes as a goaltender, if you're not really seeing all that much action, you get a little cold in the net. So good start to the second period for Kerr. Lackney got Anderson going to the goal. His pass to Anderson was well behind him. Anderson with one hand on his stick, able to grab that. Not really able to do too much else with it as Seth Bacon able to rub him off the puck. And it gets cleared through center ice. Parsons, D-to-D for Ben Brockway. Now Bucell chips and chases after it. Bucell there. Grabs his own dump in. Will wheel around the wall. Now dumps it right back down low for Anderson. Panavanov able to push him off the puck. And now Peavy takes a huge hit as he gets cleared out to center ice. Good play there by Blake Peavy. Knew he was going to get hit, but took a hit to make a play and got that puck out of his own end. Brockway goes D-to-D, and it's sent up the wall. Marty has to double back to Brockway. Now Parsons trying to get through the neutral zone with speed. Can't really do it, so he'll chip and chase after it. Romeo Terrain, the first one there. He'll take it away from him and cleared out by Bormanis. Here's Tomacek. Loses his edge as he tried to grab that puck along the wall. Millette able to come away with it. He'll spin away from the forechecking Stoichevsky. Sentinels will finish off a line change. Sent up ahead and redirected in deep by Reggie Millette. And behind the goal, Merrick Tortorella has it caught up in his skates. He pins up his man along the wall, and Bobby Price. Price comes away with it out in front. His backhander never got to the goal, and the Sentinels able to clear. Federley back in his own end, goes D-to-D. Pass up to Bobby Price. He'll saucer it over to Millette. Millette stopped up just inside the Sentinels' blue line. And Pavlov with some space will start moving out to center ice. Hits Dalton Anderson. He's over the line and shoots one. Cooper the save. He'll glove that and hang on. Two minutes and 41 seconds gone here in period number 2. We stay scoreless. Each team with one shot on net. Sentinels send out the very offensive unit of Cunningham, Lease, and Zinchenko. Off the draw, it ends up going to Cooper. He'll play to the corner. Nobody home, though, as Cunningham hustling to grab that puck, try to go out to the blue line to Bacon. But Bacon had to back up as he had too many Prowler players around him. Didn't want to end up giving up an odd man chance. Now deep in the Prowlers' end. Federley will come up the wall and out to the neutral zone. Austin Federley will wait, hold on to it, rip one on net, and Kerr able to knock that one aside. The rebound goes out to the blue line. Back to Federley near side. He'll bounce it down, Lackney. Up top for Lockhart, he goes D-to-D. Johnson for Lackney near side. His wrist shot, tried to go short side high, ended up catching the glass. And behind the net, Colarusso had to roll off the end of his stick. Lackney there to take it away. Graham holding at the circle, now shooting one at Kerr. Good shoulder there, able to shrug that one away and knock it into the netting out of play. Good stop there from Chris Kerr as he gets the shoulder on that to knock it away. Face off coming to the left-hand side of Kerr. Peavy out there to take this draw up against Anderson. Peavy will win it. Panavanov fake that pass over to Terrain, had two guys going in behind the net. Finds some space on the near side and clears it out through center ice. The Prowlers will attack once more. Heikla looking in front for Anderson, and Kerr gets his stick on that pass, read it all the way, and sends it out of play. Good read there from Kerr as Anderson was driving to the goal. Heikla trying to hit him, driving right down the middle of the ice, but Kerr with the poke check, able to get a stick on that and knock it up into the netting. Bucell will win this draw. Long shot from the blue line, save made by Kerr. The rebound picked up here by Peavy. He'll backhand it out to center ice. Panavanov back in his own end. Finds Terrain on the far side. He's got some space through the neutral zone. Hits the blue line and dumps it in. It's been a long shift for this grouping, so they'll try to get as many people to change as possible. Only able to get two people off by my count. Dumped in by the Prowlers. Panavanov braces for a hit from Anderson, who then moves it along to Bucell, out to the blue line. Favaro, a slap shot, and Kerr able to somehow see that one through a screen. That was a high riser, and Kerr able to grab that one with a glove. Favaro put everything he had behind that one. Chris Kerr able to snatch it out of the air. Port Huron really making it a point here early in this second period, just about 4.5 minutes into it, to throw as many pucks as possible on net when they're in the offensive zone. Usually they like to move the puck around and move themselves around in the offensive zone, try to cause some confusion, but right now they're just tossing it on net. As there's another save from Kerr, wrist shot from Oregon coming in from the blue line. Favaro keeps it in, throwing it to DeCumbis. Millette holding at the point, moving it to Oregon. He's got a guy going back door. That was DeCumbis, but that shot pass was blocked by Merrick Tortorella, and Zinchenko will push it out to center ice. Has it roll off the end of his stick as he was checked from behind. Here comes Reggie Millette cutting to the middle of the ice. Millette holding onto it at the circle, now walking in front. DeCumbis couldn't get that one through to the goal. One-time shot from DeCumbis. Zinchenko will dump this one down. Race for the puck. Cunningham looked like he was going to win that race, but the linesman saying no. And we'll get a whistle, and for Indiana, a perfect time for a TV timeout. 14:45 to play in the second period. We stay scoreless here in Port Huron. You're watching the Sentinels on the Sentinels Hockey Network. Here's the score. The Port Huron Prowlers putting up some shots on the goal here in the second period. They've closed the gap, which was 11-5 to start this period. It's now 12-11 in favor of Indiana, who has spent a majority of the time in the second period in their own end. Port Huron certainly putting up a push here. Cleared out by the Sentinels up ahead. Knocked down by Cunningham at the blue line, but called an offsides by the linesman. What a play by Cunningham, though, anyway, just to be able to knock that one out of the air. That was about knee-high. And a long saucer pass from in behind the Sentinels net. So a brilliant job by Cunningham to even have the opportunity to knock that puck down and corral it. Unfortunately, just a couple of steps off sides. Federley gets told to back up and get back into position. Comes to him off the face-off anyway, and Colarusso right into his grill, able to take that puck away and clear it out to center. Thrown through the neutral zone by the Prowlers, and Kerr will play from in behind his net. Look out. He had Dylan Marty there right in his face. On the second try, Kerr able to wrap it around the wall, stays in the zone for a moment until it rolls out past Lockhart. Now Federley hitting the red line. That dump in was a fluttering try, and Bacon knocks that one down. Colarusso will move it back over for Seth Bacon. Trying to move that up ahead, a little out of the reach of the Sentinels forward grouping. Now Anderson, a backhander up ahead for Bucell. 2-on-1, Bucell shooting one. Colarusso getting his stick in the lane there, knocks it wide. Back to Bucell in the corner, in front, Anderson. Good stop by Kerr with the pad. Anderson again, holding on to it, circling the wagons. Up top for Parsons, his shot saved by Kerr. A blocker save that time through his screen and cleared down by Bauer. Sentinels getting a wholesale line change. So Port Huron now with 13 shots, taking the lead in that category. Pushed up ahead for Anderson, just out of his reach. He gets it in the corners. He battles with terrain, comes off the wall with it. Walking to the middle of the ice is Blake Anderson. He tried to pass across, but Tomacek getting in the way of that. Tomacek trying to get through Anderson, going to the net, gets taken down on that opportunity, and we're going to have a hooking call on the Prowlers. Good hustle there from Phil Tomacek to get inside position and try to draw a penalty, which is exactly what he did. It's a tripping call on Blake Anderson, who will sit down for 2 minutes. Another opportunity on the Haas Insurance power play coming up for the Sentinels. Oh for 1 so far today is Indiana, but had a couple really good opportunities with this grouping specifically. The Zinchenko, Lease, and Cunningham unit, they were able to move it around with Pavlov and Colarusso on the back end. This clearing attempt held in by Colarusso. Cunningham will keep it. Had it knocked off his stick, though, by Matt Graham, who was pressuring up high. And the Sentinels regroup in the neutral zone. Zinchenko on the near side. Will enter over the zone. Cross-ice pass for Cunningham. Cunningham banking it off the wall. Colarusso, D-to-D, Pavlov. Pavlov has Cunningham far side, elects to go down low to Zinchenko. His pass for Cunningham was about waist high. Cunningham unable to knock that one down. Kept in, though, by the Sentinels. Colarusso holding and throwing one towards the net. Unable to get that through the stick of Lackney. And cleared out of there finally by the Prowlers. Lackney, the first one after it, getting behind Colarusso. Colarusso after him there, trying to pin him up along the wall. Lackney breaks free. Millette now will try to play 4 corners, but ends up giving it away to Zinchenko. He's in over the line. Bo Zinchenko shooting one, trying to shoot right, skate left. But missed the net on that one. Intercepted by Millette. Coming back in over the Sentinel line, looking out in front. Unable to settle that puck down was Bobby Price as he was held up from behind. No penalty called. We play on. Millette will take this and he'll send it the length of the ice. 35 seconds left to go on this Haas Insurance power play for the Sentinels. Phil Tomacek going cross ice for Peavy. Takes that off the skates and will redirect it in deep. Clearing attempt held in, though, by Panavanov. Panavanov for Tomacek. Around a check and getting down to the far corner. Panavanov up top for Stoichevsky near side. He shoots one, and a good stop there from Cooper, square to the shot. Was able to gobble that one up and hang on to it with 11:05 on the clock. 11 seconds on the Prowler penalty. So the Sentinels, who have given up 14 shorthanded goals this year, nearly gave Bobby Price a shorty on On a good setup by Millette, but a great back check there by Indiana to deny that opportunity. Off the face-off wing, comes to Bacon at the blue line. Bormanis back up top for Bacon. His wrist shot tipped in front by Anderson. A moving screen, was able to get the redirect and a good stop from Cooper. Both teams now back at full strength. Wrapped around the wall, Bormanis holding on to it. He'll send it in behind the net to the opposite side. Good check there on Bradburn, but Bradburn able to move it along to Bormanis. His shot blocked by Oregon and cleared out to center ice. Back up ahead for Bormanis. He's hit by Favaro. Bormanis gives it right back and is going to get called for it. Cooper off to the bench for an extra attacker. The Sentinels about to go to their very first Powerade penalty kill once they get control of this puck. Gets dumped into the Sentinel zone. Panovanov there to touch. And the Sentinels going to the kill with 10:09 left to play in period number 2. Going to be a cross-checking call on Bormanis. An opportunity on the PK. Down low, comes up to Reggie Millette. His wrist shot tipped on net, good save by Kerr. Comes out to the far side, Johnson. He'll send it in behind the net, Lackney there to hold. Lackney back to Johnson on the far wall. Johnson holding. Now up top for Federley. He plays catch with Johnson walking down low. Graham in front, they score! Goes back door and tapped in by Lucas Lackney. He'll get his 11th of the season. Pardon me, his 12th of the season. And against the Sentinels, that is Lackney's 6th career goal against Indiana, and the Prowlers get the ever-important first goal of the game. With 9:32 left to play in the period. Favaro for Port Huron will send it up ahead, gets deflected into Sentinel zone. Bradburn in the neutral zone takes a huge hit there from Heikela, but still is able to get the puck in deep. Now Favaro entering the zone, trying to shield off Bacon. Leaves it for Bucell, who's spinning away from Peavy. And behind, Favaro pinching in from the blue line. Will walk up the wall, has some space up top, holding onto it. Favaro waiting. Looking back out to Anderson, who's covering at the blue line. Favaro far side now. Is a man driving back door, but Kerr once again with that active stick, able to get that in the way and knock it wide in front. Big save! Oh, Bobby Price all alone in the slot, and Kerr able to get the blocker on it. Bucell for Lockhart. Anderson hitting Price. He walks in and fires. Kerr again with the save. Able to fight that one off. Didn't know where the rebound went. Finally cleared out of there by the Sentinels, and that's the best shift for Port Huron in this game. Here come the Sentinels again. Bauer whiffed on the shot. And now pushed out by the Prowlers and cleared out by the Sentinels to the neutral zone. Lockhart over the line offsides will get a whistle. Well, there you saw the Prowlers doing what they like to do in the offensive zone, moving themselves and moving the puck, causing some confusion, trying to open up some space in the offensive zone. Chris Kerr, brilliant in net, denying those chances. We'll be back with more of the second period right after this. 1-0 Prowlers on the Sentinels Hockey Network.
Scotty's entire team, from the most simplistic things to the most complex, are phenomenal. They're informative, responsive, and something that's important to me, they're honest.
As a business owner myself, I know how important it is to protect your livelihood. I'm Scott Weatherford, owner of Richard Hawes Insurance. Give me a call today and we can chat about how an independent agent can save your business money.
Back in Port Huron, 7:54 left to go in period number 2. The Prowlers with a 1-0 lead thanks to a goal from Lucas Lackney on the power play. And the Prowlers have really turned up the heat on Indiana, now leading in shots, 19-13. They put up 14 shots in this period alone. Reggie Millette will set up shop in the offensive zone for Port Huron. And behind the net, Bobby Price, Port Huron's goal leader, is shielded nicely, though, by Pavlov. Nothing he could do but wrap it around the wall to the opposite side where DeCumbis is there. He'll put it to the blue line. Parsons' wrist shot bounces off the wall and wide. Merrick Tortorella in behind the net. Using the net as a shield nicely. He's able to exit that puck out to the neutral zone where Cunningham over the line will throw it on net. Sticked aside there by Cooper. They battle forward and behind. Cunningham trying to pin up his man along the wall. That's Parsons. And it's cleared out to Millette, who kicks it forward into the Sentinel zone. He and Terrain go shoulder to shoulder. Zinchenko's clearing attempt. Hits Matt Graham and stays in the zone. Lackney's turnaround shot. Terrain gets a leg in the way of that. Graham able to shield off Panovanov for a moment. His pass to the middle of the ice goes to nobody but Cunningham, who then clears it out to center ice. Lackney over the Prowlers logo, moving it to Federley in, shooting, good save, Kerr! Austin Federley trying to battle through Romeo Terrain and get to the net. Chris Kerr able to shut down the 5-hole. Really good work by both Romeo Terrain and Chris Kerr. Terrain to hold up Federley just enough and do it legally. And Kerr able to stick with Federley the whole time and close up that 5-hole. Off the face-off, first shot here from Dylan Marty. That's gobbled up by Kerr as well. The face-off game for the Sentinels, which they were so good at in the first period, has taken a bit of a 180 here in the second, especially in the defensive zone, losing a lot of face-offs. Off the draw, the Prowlers win another one. Stuck along that far circle, and Anderson gets it right back, trying to throw that one on net, but a good back pressure from Phil Tomacek stopped that, and it gets cleared down into Prowler territory, not far enough for an icing. Bucell hits the red line, will dump it cross ice. Panovanov, the first one there, able to shield off Anderson, loses an edge. Unable to clear the puck. Thrown towards the net, Curry able to make the save, pass out in front for Bucell, and he shoots it just wide, and the Sentinels happy to clear this one out. And it is going to end up going on goal, so fortunate for the Sentinels, they're able to get some bodies off the ice. Bucell leaving it to Millette. His pass across deflects off of Bacon and wide. Zinchenko able to settle things down for Indiana. Colarusso across for Seth Bacon. Had Lease in the middle of the ice trying to find him there, but knocked down with a hand pass, and we'll get another whistle here, this time on Port Huron. Face off at the offside dot, just by the Sentinels bench. Everett Thompson going with the Stoychevsky, Anderson, and Bormanis unit with Merrick Tortorella and Pavlov on the back end. Approaching the 5-minute mark here of period number 2, and the Sentinels only able to muster up 3 shots so far in period number 2. Good stick there from Stoichevsky, but unfortunately knocks it into his own bench, so we'll get yet another face-off in the neutral zone with 5 minutes left to go in period number 2. Very important final 5 minutes here for the Indiana Sentinels as they try to muster up some offense and hopefully get a tying goal to try to grab some momentum back heading into the third period. As another offside call here on Port Huron. And with that offside call, it brings in our last media timeout of the period. We'll step aside, 1-0 Prowlers with 4:49 to go in period number 2. .49 left to play in period number 2. The Prowlers have taken the momentum in this game, now out shooting Indiana 22-14 in this period. The Prowlers putting up 17 shots in this period to the 3 for Indiana. So Chris Kerr really putting some work in down to our right in the second period. And like I said just before we went to break, a very important final 5 minutes here for Indiana to make sure that A, they don't give up another goal to make it a 2-0 lead and really let momentum get into the hands of the Prowlers, but B, to put the Prowlers back on their heels once more like they had them in the first period and gather some momentum for themselves, similar to what we saw on the Sunday game where the Prowlers were able to scored 2 goals in the second period and take the momentum away from the Sentinels, but a late goal from Phil Tomacek, and obviously the shenanigans afterwards really gave the momentum back to Indiana for the final 20 minutes of play. Inside the Prowlers and Pavlov's shot, good save by Cooper, as that puck was bobbled just a little bit by Reed Cooper, but we got a quick whistle and a little bit of pushing and shoving after the fact. Cunningham getting in there along with Zinchenko. The Sentinels getting some offensive zone pressure and a little bit of switching up on the lines there from Everett Thompson. He had Blake Peavy on in the middle there between Zinchenko and Cunningham. Now Peavy will stay out and be in between Bormanis and Tomacek. Hanavanov and Bacon on the back end now for Indiana. Bormanis taking the draw. Try to tie up Millette, but Millette was able to win it back before Bormanis could get him good and tied up. Cleared out of there by Port Huron and all the way down for an icing. Peavy getting instructions from Everett Thompson as far as what they want to end up doing on this draw. Peavy looks like he's going to end up taking this face-off here. Wants Bormanis behind him to try to get a quick shot off the draw. Off the face-off one, back to Panavanov. There's Bacon on the far side. His wrist shot got blocked. In the way of that, I believe, is Bobby Price as it comes back out to center ice. Lockhart will go across for Johnson. His pass up ahead to Millette. And offsides was Port Huron. I don't know if Price didn't hear the whistle or just didn't want to hear the whistle, but he continued playing. Ended up throwing a puck on net there, and you're not going to make any friends doing that. Also clipped Kerr on his way through, so Tomacek taking mental note of that and saying, I don't think so, pal. You're not going to get close to my goaltender like that. Whether intentional or not, you always want to see your team standing up for their goaltender, making sure nobody's taking any shots at him, especially after a whistle. I like that move from Tomacek. Stayed smart with it as well, didn't end up taking a penalty. Just made sure that Port Huron knew that's not going to fly around here. Pavlov on the faceoff win, unable to get that puck in deep. Zinchenko, though, trying to dig that away from Parsons. He does, and he sends it in behind the net. Nobody home for Indiana, but a clearing attempt. Colarusso able to keep it in for a moment before it's pushed back out to center ice. Controlled by Brian Parsons. Zinchenko getting in the way of him. Off the glass it goes, and out to Colarusso back at his own end. His bank pass read there by Anderson. Bouncing puck in the neutral zone. Zinchenko looking up ahead for Cunningham. Clearing attempt away from him, bouncing around. Then Cunningham takes a big hit there on the far wall from Heikkila. Gets back to his feet, and Anderson for the Prowlers dropping it off. A wrist shot blocked by Pavlov. That one stung. Zinchenko giving it away to the middle of the ice to Bucel, who sends it up over the net. Pavlov still smarting from that block shot, able to skate up ahead and hit Cunningham in the neutral zone. His dump in ends up going off of Organ. And now Federley over the line. Across for Graham. Backdoor feed! Had a man driving to the back post. That was Lucas Lackney, very similar to the goal that he's already scored in this game. But he's unable to put that one in the back of the net. Sent it just wide. Organ up ahead for Graham. Lackney now, his wrist shot gloved down by Kerr. He'll hold it with 2:07 to play in the period. Sentinels trying to avoid that late goal that they've given up often here in the last couple of weeks. They were able to get out of the first period without allowing a late goal. Hopefully they can do the same here in the second and maybe even get one of their own, as this is a face-off win, but ends up going on net to Kerr, who wants to just reset. For this defensive zone draw, Anderson is out there to take it for the Sentinels. He'll go up against Vincent DeCumbus. Anderson, the best centerman for the Sentinels in the face-off circle on Friday night. He won about 80% of his draws. This long shot ends up hitting Price as it was sailing wide and cleared out of there by Bradburn. And let's see, did this go directly out of play or did this hit a body on its way out? Bradburn was going down trying to get a stick on it, and he really, if it didn't hit anybody, then he certainly got a lot underneath it, and it is going to end up being a penalty to Bradburn for a delay of game. So another Powerade penalty kill coming up for the Sentinels. They are 0 for 1 today. And with 1:49 to go in the second period, this is a very, very big penalty kill for Indiana. Port Huron will win the draw. Federley has Millette. Graham out in front, Lackney down low. At that far blue line, there's Johnson. His cross-ice pass to Flex. Bormanis unable to clear. Federley down low to Graham. Back up top for Federley. He walks to the middle of the ice. Dropping it to Johnson. He's got some space to shoot, and a good stop there from Kerr. Got just enough of it to knock it away. Reggie Millette to the circles, firing one. That didn't miss by much on the blocker side. Wraps around the wall and comes out to the neutral zone. Reggie Millette Curling away from the check of Bormanis, who now goes for a line change. Lease jumping out for him. Millette entering the Sentinels territory. Trying to get through Panavanov, he does. Finds Bucell to Lackney down low, back up top, Reggie Millette. Wrist shot blocked by Panavanov, is sailing about 10 feet wide anyway. Now Johnson to Bucell in front, shooting, he scores! Bucell in the slot, able to find a soft little area and had some space to settle that puck down and fire it just over the glove of Chris Kerr. It is now a 2-0 lead for Port Huron. 2 power play goals for the Prowlers. Colarusso back in his own end, clearing attempt, bounces out to center ice. Bauer there to control. He's got Tomacek driving to the net, trying to hit him with a pass. That deflects off of a stick and goes into the netting, out of play. Draw stays inside the Prowlers' end. Johnson the only assist, that's his second point on the night. Bucell with a goal, picking up number 7. His 5th against the Sentinels to give the Prowlers a 2-0 lead. As the second period comes nearer and nearer to an end, Cumbus trying to get one more. Knocked off his stick though by Lease, under 10 seconds left. Anderson in behind the net. Trying to look to the middle of the ice. That went in between Lease and Cumbus and goes out to the neutral zone where the period will come to a close. So the Port Huron Prowlers really turn up the heat in period number 2. They put 21 shots on net. 2 of them beating Chris Kerr. Meanwhile, on the other side, the Sentinels, a 4-shot second period, really had trouble getting the puck out of their own end. So a much sloppier second period for Indiana in period number 2. And they'll head to the locker room now after all the dust has settled. A little chirping back and forth between both squads, but cooler heads are going to prevail. We'll step aside for intermission break and be back right after this. 2-0 Prowlers here on the Sentinels Hockey Network.
his entire team, from the most simplistic things to the most complex, are phenomenal. They're informative, responsive, and something that's important to me, they're honest.
As a business owner myself, I know how important it is to protect your livelihood. I'm Scott Weatherford, owner of Richard Hawes Insurance. Give me a call today and we can chat about how an independent agent can save your business money.
What's in your decision to donate blood? More than you know. One donation can save lives and fuel research to save many more. A few moments of your time sparks moments like these. And these. Hope cures, empowers, and strengthens us. Hope is in all the moments that matter. And it's in all of us. Versity Blood Centers. Hope. It's in our blood.
Huron, where the Indiana Sentinels trail it 2-0 after 40 minutes of play. I'm joined upstairs by a special guest who's just returned to the Indiana Sentinels after about 2 months away. Nolan Dawson, welcome back to the United States of America, my friend. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for having me. Very excited to be back.
So you spent a little bit of time out in Finland over the last couple of months. Talk about how you got that opportunity and just how everything went over there.
Yeah, so I had a kind of friend on the team reach out, and they were looking for guys. And, getting over to Europe, playing hockey in Europe is kind of something a lot of guys dream about. So it was pretty tough to turn down that opportunity, and was able to kind of head out there and play a good couple months.
And obviously you've been playing here with the Sentinels in the United States for up until that point. What was the biggest difference that you noticed going over to play European hockey? I know the rink is for sure wider, but is the gameplay itself any different?
Yeah, I think that's always a conversation, right? The North American versus European style, and I think kind of from my experience, I find it's a little less physical and a lot more kind of skill and turning back with pucks, where North America is a lot more of a dump and chase style, and I think that was definitely the biggest thing I noticed. And obviously the bigger rinks mean you're skating a lot more and having to go a lot farther to catch guys.
You've had a very, very quick turnaround since coming back. You got back to the United States on Thursday, flew in here to Detroit, met the team up in Port Huron. We're on the ice for morning skate today. How are you awake? How are you feeling?
I've definitely felt better. I think it was about 12 hours of flights to get back here, and obviously, an 8-hour time change. So kind of battling through, felt all right on the ice, not my best, and, battling yawning a little bit here through this game, but starting to feel a little bit better now.
Well, I'm sure the first 3 seconds of the opening period got to wake you up a little bit. What are your thoughts on how the game has gone on so far? Obviously, second period, Sentinels really lost a lot of the momentum that they had built up in the first.
Yeah, I think with anything, it's, Port Huron, you play them so many times, you kind of know what to expect. I think going in, some bad blood left over and just building up throughout the year. I think to last period, I think we just need to focus on getting out of our own end a little bit cleaner and kind of trying to tilt the ice a little bit towards their end. We were on our heels a little bit there for a good chunk of that period.
You're sitting up top here with Ethan Esposito, who's also out for today's game. It's a little different being able to see it from almost a bird's eye view compared to seeing it on the bench. So is there anything specific that you're seeing that worked for Indiana in the first period that hasn't happened in the second?
Nothing too specific. I mean, I can say the game looks a lot easier up here sometimes than it feels on the ice. Yeah. But, I think we just kind of got to get back to what's made us, successful throughout the bit of the season when I was here. And, lately, which is just kind of putting pucks behind them, chasing down, and just playing a more offensive game than kind of being on our heels. We got to be on our toes a lot more here.
What are you thinking for tomorrow's game? You think you'll suit up, or are you going to take one more day to try to get your lives back?
I think that's up in the air right now. We're just kind of going on how I feel and not trying to, rush things too fast here. So.
All right, Nolan, I appreciate it. Go sit down, take a little bit more of a rest, and we'll see you again, hopefully soon.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited to get back.
All right, that's Nolan Dawson. We'll go to one more commercial break and bring it back for our look around the league right after this. You're watching Indiana Sentinels hockey on the Sentinels Hockey Network.
His entire team, from the most simplistic things to the most complex, are phenomenal. They're informative, responsive, and something that's important to me, they're honest.
As a business owner myself, I know how important it is to protect your livelihood. I'm Scott Weatherford, owner of Richard Hawes Insurance. Give me a call today and we can chat about how an independent agent can save your business money.
What's in your decision to donate blood? More than you know. One donation can save lives and fuel research to save many more. A few moments of your time sparks moments like these. And these. Hope cures, empowers, and strengthens us. Hope is in all the moments that matter, and it's in all of us. Versity Blood Centers. Hope, it's in our blood.
Welcome back to McMorran Place as we get ready for the second period of play, or the third period of play between the Port Huron Prowlers and the Indiana Sentinels. Prowlers leading it 2-0 through 2 periods of play. Both of those goals coming in the second period and both being of the power play variety. At the 9:32 mark of the second period, Lucas Lackney received a backdoor feed from Matt Graham. And Lackney, all he had to do was make sure he had his stick on the ice and was able to tap that one in just past the outstretched pad of Chris Kerr to make it 1-0 on a power play tally. And with just 45 seconds left to go in the second period, another late goal in a period given up by the Sentinels, this time to Jamie Bucell. He gets number 7 on the season. He was left alone right by the far circle in the Sentinel zone, had some time to settle down the puck, pick his spot, and blew it past the glove side of Kerr to make it 2-0. Shots in that period were 21-4 in favor of the Port Huron Prowlers. So I mentioned it heading into the second period. The second period is typically where you start to see fatigue starting to set in for the teams, and you can see that the Sentinels a little bit behind the 8 ball in that second period of play. So as we heard from our intermission guest, Nolan Dawson, big thank you to Nolan for taking a little bit of time out to speak with us. He has certainly done a lot of traveling over the last 48 hours and is battling through it here. So we thank him for taking some time to say hello, and hopefully we get to see him this weekend, if not for sure next weekend. But the Sentinels trail 2-0 through 40 minutes of play and need to find a way to generate a little bit more life back into that bench as they had seen in the first period. Quick look around the league. As far as what's going on here in the FPHL, Port Huron leads Indiana 2-0 through 2. Athens really blowing it up out in Petey, 5-3. As the second period nears an end there out in South Carolina. So Athens starting to pile it on. Danbury still leading 1-0 over Blue Ridge on home ice. Watertown carrying a 2-1 lead in the second period over Binghamton. Let's keep a close eye on that and see if Watertown is able to hold on. Monroe with a 3-goal lead over Columbus, 4-1 in period number 2. Baton Rouge holding down the fort at home ice. 2-0 in the first period over the Twin City Thunderbirds, and Biloxi with a lead 2-1 in the second period against the Topeka Scarecrows. Topeka dropping the game yesterday in overtime, 4-3 against the Biloxi Breakers. So Biloxi looking to get 2 straight wins for the first time in quite a while. We'll step aside once more for a commercial break and be back with the third period right after this. You're watching Indiana Sentinels hockey on the Sentinels Hockey Network.
Scott and his entire team, from the most simplistic things to the most complex, are phenomenal. They're informative, responsive, and something that's important to me, they're honest.
As a business owner myself, I know how important it is to protect your livelihood. I'm Scott Weatherford, owner of Richard Hawes Insurance. Give me a call today and we can chat about how an independent agent can save your business money.
What's in your decision to donate blood? More than you know. One donation can save lives and fuel research to save many more. A few moments of your time sparks moments like these. And these. Hope cures, empowers, and strengthens us. Hope is in all the moments that matter, and it's in all of us. Versity Blood Centers. Hope, it's in our blood.
Time for the third period of play between the Prowlers and your Indiana Sentinels. The Sentinels trailing it 2-0. Through the first 40 minutes off of 2 power play goals by the Prowlers. One off the stick of Lucas Lackney, the second from Jamie Bucell. Sentinels outshot in that period, like I said, 21-4 after outshooting Port Huron 11-5 in the first period. As we get started with the third period, which is brought to you by Ryan Ferg Creative, Sentinels look to start chipping away at this 2-goal deficit. Port Huron controls it in the offensive zone for now. Graham looking in the middle of the ice, walking down, shooting one, and a big save by Kerr as Lockhart coming right down Broadway. Threw a puck on net, and Kerr with a huge stop there as we get a whistle with 19:34 left to play here in the third. So already an important couple of saves for Kerr to start out this third period. Bucell will win the draw. Off the face-off, long shot from the blue line by Parsons goes into the glove of Chris Kerr, and we'll start that over once more. Draw to the left of Kerr. Peavy on the face-off against Bucell. Once again, Port Huron able to win it, but can't keep it inside the zone as Lockhart brought it back in offsides. Tomacek and Bormanis getting into it with Brockway and Parsons. Bit of a stare down on both sides. Some words being said to each other. And we'll go back to playing hockey in a minute. Peavy, Bradburn, and Bormanis, the forward unit here. Panovanov and Terrain on the back end. Linesman wanting two new centermen. Bucell and Peavy kicked out. Bormanis and Anderson going to take over. Bormanis able to win this draw back. Terrain will grab it in his own end. Panovanov here will hit Bradburn, who banks it up ahead, hoping for Bormanis, but the bank pass not at the stick of Bormanis. It was a little behind him. And Port Huron will control once more. Toss it through the neutral zone and down Anderson there to win the race for the puck. It puts it out in front for Bucell, who labels that one just over the net. Bormanis now able to fumble that one into the zone. Finds Peavy looking in front for Bormanis, jumps over his stick, held in Pavlov. His shot gets blocked on the way through. Bucell throws it in behind. Bormanis intercepting. He's tied up there by Parsons, still trying to force that to the middle of the ice to Bauer, but taken away. Bucell looking for the trailer. Wrist shot from Favaro. That's stopped by Kerr. Favaro seemingly getting a high stick up in the face, ends up going for a line change. And behind the Prowler net, pass out towards the slot, knocked away and sent out of play, but that should be a penalty as it was knocked out by the Prowlers out of their own end, and it is going to be a penalty. So a delay of game call coming here to the Port Huron Prowlers and Favaro. So another Haas Creative, or excuse me, Haas Insurance power play for the Sentinels. 0 for 2 on the day so far. They'll win this draw. Bacon with it. Shot from the blue line is seen and held by Reed Cooper. Draw now going to the opposite side of Cooper. Face off won by the Sentinels, but won a little too well as Pavlov has to now double back. He'll grab it from behind his own net, does Vlad Pavlov. Finds Bozinchenko. Moving it up, Lease in the corner. He gets crunched there, but moves it along for Cunningham. He's got Bacon waiting. He and Bacon now play catch. Bacon moving to the middle of the ice, throwing one towards the net, but never made it through. It was blocked on the way through. That one hit Brockway. Now Pavlov leaving it to Zinchenko. Cross ice pass. That one actually going on goal. Cooper able to get a pad on it, and it gets sent out by the Prowlers. Pavlov in behind his own goal. Bacon across for Cunningham. Pass in behind him. Bouncing puck at the blue line. Prowlers decide to kill off a little more time, send it back to Oregon. And he'll clear it out to center ice. Rolling puck settled down by Pavlov, ends up going off of his stick. Nearly out of play, hits the very top of the glass and past Tomacek. Now a feed up ahead for Price, who's waiting. Panovanov just off the bench, able to get in his way and knock him off balance just enough. Tomacek through the neutral zone. Able to dangle his way into Prowler territory. Will throw it around to the opposite side. Stochevsky, his wraparound pass deflected off of a leg and ends up going back out to the neutral zone. Tomacek trying to turn it right back up with 15 left to go on the penalty. First shot stopped there by Cooper. The rebound. PV able to pick that one up. Wrapping it around the wall. Stochevsky there to grab it with the final 5 seconds ready to tick off the power play. Tomacek's long shot from the blue line deflecting on its way through as we are back at full strength. Peavy in behind to Bowery. One hands it around the wall to an open blue line. Panavanov there to grab it. Now Graham in the neutral zone. Goes back to Lockhart. He'll send it through center ice and gets redirected in by Federle. Back to grab it there, Bacon for Indiana. Bradburn will chip it up ahead. There to pick it up inside the offensive zone. Cunningham, good pass out in front for Lease. One hand on his stick, able to hook that one out towards the front of the net as Lease was driving, but Reed Cooper able to see what was developing, pick that one off, and reels that one in to hang on to it. So 2 shots on that power play for Indiana. And with 15:42 left to play in the third period, they'll get an offensive zone draw with Dalton Anderson taking it up against Jamie Bucell. Anderson has Bormanis just behind him. Bucell able to win this draw though as Favaro carries on. Bounces to the near side, cleared out to the point. Pavlov unable to keep that puck alive. Look out as Heikkila ends up blowing a tire near his own bench. Still the Prowlers able to control. Bucell can't get a shot off as Tortorella is able to fend him off. Now Bucell walking towards the middle of the ice. Pavlov, nice job to take him down and ends up getting his arm tied up with Bucell, drags him down. We're going to get a penalty on the Sentinels with 15:12 left to go in the third. A holding call coming here to Vlad Pavlov with 15:12 left to play in period number 3, and Indiana, who has yet to kill off a penalty in this game, a Powerade penalty kill upcoming. Port Huron winning the draw. Millette, his cross ice feed intercepted though by Tomacek, who now will move through center ice, curling back, fakes a pass out to his blue line man and Bacon, and ends up coming back to him in the neutral zone. Nice job here by Tomacek, killing off a good chunk of time. Nearly 20 seconds now off the clock. Reggie Millette stopped up at the blue line. Will wrap it around the base of the wall. Now comes to Millette again at the far blue. He'll walk to the middle of the ice and drop it off to Johnson near side. Back up top for Millette. Across for Federle to Johnson, had it deflected by Lease. Now Johnson at the circles, back up top to Reggie Millette. Walking to the middle, shooting one, Curry able to get a pad on it, and Lease will clear the length of the ice. A minute gone on this Powerade penalty kill. PV out there with Noah Bradburn up front. Bacon and Terrain, the defenseman. Bacon stepping up on Favaro there along the wall, clearing attempt by Bradburn, kept in by Bucell. Here's Anderson at the middle of the ice, walking to the far circle, holding, has Bucell in the middle, couldn't get the pass to him. Now Anderson once more, looking at his option, stuck there in the corner, ends up going out to the point for Price. Give and go with Anderson. Anderson pulling up at the blue line, now walking right back to the middle, shooting one that's punched right back out by Kerr, and out to center ice. Over the line is Price, trying to catch the Sentinels on a line change, but they are offsides. Are the Prowlers. 13:25 left to play in period number 3. It's 2-0 Port Huron. Another 13 seconds to kill off this kill for the Sentinels before we go back to 5-on-5.
What's in your decision to donate blood? More than you know. One donation can save lives and fuel research to save many more. A few moments of your time sparks moments like these. And these. Hope cures, empowers, and strengthens us. Hope is in all the moments that matter. And it's in all of us. Versity Blood Centers. Hope. It's in our blood.
I'll go back to Port Huron. Sentinels trying to finish out this Powerade penalty kill and go back to work to start chipping away at this 2-goal deficit. Last weekend, the Sentinels opened up on Friday in a shutout loss. In goal that game, though, was Bailey Huber. Federley's long shot from the blue line deflects off of a leg and wide. Both teams now back at full strength. Pavlov out there now playing at a forward position since Terrain and Panovanov are out there playing D smartly. Chris Kerr able to cover this puck up so that the Sentinels are able to get the proper line changes out. .13:02 left to play in the second period. Shots now 33-17 Port Huron. If you're just tuning in, after the first period of play, the Sentinels led in shots on net 11-5. So it's been a big second and third period effort from Port Huron to put some shots on net. Now that the Sentinels are 5-on-5, they come back with their big offensive unit here with Bo Zinchenko, Cory Cunningham, and Jonas Lees as they go to work in the O-zone. Up top, it's Colarusso, D to D. There's a shot from Bacon deflecting off of a stick and out of play. Good movement there in the offensive zone for the Sentinels, going all around from low to high, D to D, and Bacon doing the right thing, trying to get a shot on net with some bodies heading toward the goal. Unfortunately, just unable to get it through the first line of defense. But the draw stays inside the Port Huron zone. Lease on the face-off here. Seemed like the linesman might have double clutched on that, which is why the Prowlers were able to get such an easy win on that draw and clear it out of their zone. But the Sentinels doing a nice job to clog up the middle of the ice. Take it right back. It's Zinchenko who chips it in deep. Cunningham chasing after it. Oregon gets there first. Lee's able to seal off the wall. Sentinels keep pressure. Now turnover, Cunningham looking at Peavy. His one-touch pass for Zinchenko, who's not ready for it. Got caught up in some skates. Now Price and Colarusso do battle near the blue line. And out to center ice, it comes. DeCumbus, possible 2-on-1 as he hits Millette. Millette back for DeCumbus, couldn't get the pass through in the second try. Another active stick there from Chris Kerr, not letting that pass get through. Out to the point it goes, Cunningham. Can't get it onto his forehand to clear it. And behind the Sentinels net goes to Peavy. He's got some space to move it over to Cunningham, who's dead tired at the end of his shift, able to move it through a couple of bodies and then gets thrown down to the ice. Pavlov now taking over. He'll chip it in. Cunningham trying to find the energy to get off the ice for a line change. Alex Johnson from his own zone looking up ahead for Lackney. He'll hit center red and dump it in deep. Wraps around the wall to the near point. Johnson, Graham over to Lackney. His wrist shot ends up catching the glass and behind. Lockhart on the far side, finding Lackney on the boards. He'll backhand it down low. Graham there to pick it up. He comes right back up high, but Bauer, a good active stick, able to knock that out to the neutral zone. Bauer stealing the puck again at center ice. Merrick Tortorella, as the Prowlers are off sides, has some space to make a move and start moving through the neutral zone. Nearly lost it, but gets it right back. Merrick Tortorella holding on in behind the net. Takes a hit, but comes out to the blue line. Tomacek, his shot, a head-hunter. Blockered aside by Cooper. Now back to Tomacek here on the near side. Cleared out by the Prowlers off the glass. Merrick Tortorella crisscrossing through the neutral zone as Anderson all over him from behind, who strips him of the puck but can't clear. He hit his own man. Bucell stays in as Stoichevsky trying to one-hand that one to the middle of the ice. Bradburn was in the area. Couldn't get it to him, and Heikkila back the other way. Leaving it off to Anderson. Shooting one off the post. And that sails out of play. 9:58 left to play in period number 3, and a close call there for Port Huron to try to put them up by 3 right off the bar and out. You're watching the Indiana Sentinels on the Sentinels Hockey Network. Two 2-0 Prowlers with under 10 minutes left to play here in the third period. Reed Cooper looking to pick up his second shutout of the season. He's got 5 wins against the Sentinels in his career, none of them being of the shutout variety. And I'm not sure if you guys remember or not, but one of the last times we were out here back in January, Reed Cooper had a shutout in the third period, and we kept saying shutout to jinx him, and it worked. Let's see if it keeps going on here. Hopefully it gives the Sentinels a little extra luck. Reggie Millette at the blue line. A turnaround shot to the net, knocked aside by Kerr. Comes back out to Oregon. Leaving it to Millette around the check of Lease. Nice job by Lease on the second effort. Able to get a stick on that and knock it away. Panavanov stepping up in the neutral zone. PV there to take it away. He'll clear it in deep. Favaro after it. Back in his own zone. Favaro, PV all over him. Knocks him down to the ice. Here's Tomacek to take it. Lost it to Oregon. And now Lackney through the neutral zone. Millette right back to Lackney. He's got a way to the net. In to shoot. Oh, and he lost his balance. Gets taken down. And we're going to get a tripping call against Richie Colarusso with 8:48 left to play in the third period. Colarusso doesn't agree with the call, but he'll sit down for 2 minutes for tripping. So 8:48 left to go now. And the Sentinels heading back to the Powerade penalty kill. Just killed off a Vlad Pavlov holding penalty. We'll have to kill off another one to stay in this hockey game. Pass across. Oh, that pass was right on the stick of Heikkila, but he was tied up at the last second by Bacon. Bacon maybe saving a goal there. Bucell up at the blue line. Has Favaro cocked and ready to go. Decides to go to Anderson. Now Favaro gets it at the blue line. He'll switch with Price. There's the switch. Price able to keep that in as Anderson tried to take it away. Wrist shot from Price. That's blockered aside by Curry and cleared out by the Sentinels. Favaro, a draw pass for Bobby Price. He'll bang his way in over the line, try to get past Bacon, but Bacon standing his ground. Anderson now at the circle looking up to Bobby Price. That puck was bouncing. Ends up going out to the neutral zone. Just about a minute gone on the Powerade penalty kill. Favaro back in his own end. Sentinels have gotten a line change and get some fresh legs out there as Peavy and Lease now change. Here's Graham through center. We'll leave it to Millette on the far wall. Dropped up top. Walking down is Johnson. His shot blocker saved by Kerr. And he sends that out of play. Another important stop there from Chris Kerr. Now his 34th of the game on 36 shots on net. Not only did he make that save, but he was able to send it out of play to get his team a chance to take a breather and get a line change. Off the face-off, Sentinels able to win it. Pavlov will clear it the length of the ice. Another strange bounce off that corner wall. It's been a couple times that a puck has been dumped down into that end, and it took a strange hop right to the middle of the ice. Here's Dalton Anderson on the turnover. Anderson tried to shot toward the net, but a good stick from Federle knocked it down. Blackney through the neutral zone. Has to curl back as Pavlov all over him. Final 5 seconds of this power play. Millette moving it forward for Lackney. He's got a man back door and Johnson, but Pavlov once again able to knock him down to the ice as we are back at full strength. Millette walking the line. Colarusso chasing after him. Colarusso once again acting as a forward like Pavlov did before, and another wrist shot from the blue line that Kerr is able to see all the way and make the stop to hang on to it. 6:32 on the clock. So 5-on-5 again. Sentinels killing off their last 2 penalties in this period. Face-off win by the Prowlers, walking in and wiring one was Dylan Marty, but he catches the glass. Merrick Tortorella in behind the net. As Lee Sanzinchenko flying out towards center ice. Lee gets knocked down by Parsons, who then intercepts that long feed. Tortorella's clearing attempt held in at the blue line by Parsons. The shot blocked by Merrick Tortorella. Knocked out to the blue line, but held in. Marty there. Will send it in behind the net. Bucell to pick it up. Shielding off Bacon. In front, Brockway couldn't get that one through. Merrick Tortorella who gets a leg in the way of that. Clearing out to the point. Anderson able to keep it in for a moment. Then Tortorella takes a huge hit up high. There is going to be a penalty on the Port Huron Prowlers. Merrick Tortorella took a hit towards the head. And the Prowlers are going to go to the box. And a Haas Insurance power play, a very important one, now upcoming for the Indiana Sentinels with 5:50 left to play here in the third period. It's going to be Anderson heading to the box. Sentinels getting together just outside the Prowlers end. Bauer, Peavy, and Tomacek, along with Stoichevsky and Panovanov, trying to all get on the same page. Make sure that they convert here on a huge Haas Insurance power play attempt. Peavy on the draw. Unable to win that one back. Favaro in the corner as Tomacek all over him. Bauer knocked to the ice by Oregon. And Oregon takes his time and will send it up to Millette, 2-on-1 with Price. Reggie Millette holding on to it, can't pull the trigger, was trying to get that one over to Price, but instead ended up turning back into a bunch of white jerseys on the back check. Somehow on that 2-on-1, Reggie Millette didn't pull the trigger on that puck. Clear it up through the neutral zone. Taken by Stoichevsky. He hits Bauer on the near side. Bauer will wrap it around in behind. Stoichevsky there to grab it, leaving it off Peavy. Holding at the circles. Panovanov near point. Had that one roll over his stick, and the Sentinels have to double back. Line change for Indiana. Panovanov getting into the zone. Holding on to it. Zinchenko just off the bench. Back to Panovanov. Near wall. Down low to Bauer. He and Panovanov play catch. Panovanov going back to Zinchenko. Can't get it to him, but Cunningham. He and Bacon trying to get that puck back. Taken by Port Huron. They'll clear. 40 seconds left to go on the power play. Zinchenko through a couple of players. His backhander ends up going off of his stick and sailing out of play with 4:28 left to go in the third period. 38 seconds left to go in the power play. The Haas Insurance power play for Indiana. They trail it 2-0 here on the Sentinels Hockey Network.
Scott and his entire team, from the most simplistic things to the most complex, are phenomenal. They're informative, responsive, and something that's important to me, they're honest.
As a business owner myself, I know how important it is to protect your livelihood. I'm Scott Weatherford, owner of Richard Hawes Insurance. Give me a call today and we can chat about how an independent agent can save your business money.
38 seconds remain on the Haas Insurance power play. Everett Thompson goes with Jonas Lees, Bozinchenko, Cory Cunningham, along with Seth Bacon and Vlad Pavlov. Sentinels win the draw. Bacon has it, leaves it for Cunningham in the circle. Back to Bozinchenko. He's got a man driving back door, and Pavlov couldn't get the pass to him. Goes to Bacon back at the blue line. His wrist shot blocked by Price, getting a skate in the lane. And a nice job by Bacon to double back and take away a possible breakaway chance from the Prowlers. 10 seconds left to go on this penalty kill for Port Huron. Lackney doing a nice job of killing off the final seconds here as he moves it out in front for Graham. Big save by Kerr. Oh, Lucas Lackney, what a job along the far wall to win a board battle and move it in front to Matt Graham, who was all alone, and he labeled a one-timer right into the chest of Chris Kerr, who, thank goodness, was awake and ready for that shot. We stayed 2-0. Both teams now back at full strength. Clearing attempt held in at the blue line. Wrist shot by Marty in and out of the glove of Kerr. Cleared out by the Sentinels. Federley back in his own end, dropping it to Nick Favaro. He's got some space to flip this one through center ice. Tortorella had it knocked down. Federley in, big save again by Kerr, able to get just enough of it with the shoulder. Federley settling it down just at the last second. Got it on net, and Kerr shrugging that one aside. Keeps the game 2-0. Bouncing puck, Bauer able to take this one away. Moving it forward. Bormanis in front, redirected on that big save. Rebound was loose for a moment, and then Cooper able to cover it up. Great job by Bormanis to throw that puck towards the front of the net. He had a man driving there in Anderson. Was able to throw it off of his skate right into the breadbasket of Cooper. And Cooper with a huge stop there to keep it 2-0. And it looks like we have a timeout here. I would assume that's Everett Thompson calling his timeout, rallying his troops with an offensive zone draw coming up. So now that we've got a little bit of time, just a quick recap here of the hockey game. No scoring in the first period, but 3 fights in the first 3 seconds of the hockey game. For the Sentinels, it was Richie Colarusso dropping the gloves, and then it was Noah Bradburn, and to wrap it all up, Seth Bacon introduced himself to the Sentinels lineup by dropping the gloves as well. So a really fun start to the hockey game. It was 0-0 through 1. Sentinels outplaying Port Huron and outshooting them 11-5 through the first period. And then in the second period, Port Huron really turned on the gas and outshot the Sentinels 21-4, picked up 2 goals, both in the power play The first one by Lucas Lackney, a tap-in back door. And the second one, Jamie Bucell, all alone in that far circle, able to rip it up over the glove hand of Chris Kerr to make it 2-0. But two important penalty kills for the Sentinels in this period have kept them close in this game and given them an opportunity to maybe tie it, as they've now got an empty net down to our left. Everett Thompson pulling out all the stops here for the Indiana Sentinels, pardon me. Clearing attempt coming out to the blue line. Pavlov unable to keep that one in as it sails out to center ice. With the empty net, Everett Thompson goes with Pavlov and Panovanov, Cunningham, Peavy, Bormanis, and Zinchenko. Dumped into the Prowlers end, cleared all the way out through center ice. Peavy trying to kick that one to his stick. Zinchenko taking it now. We'll move it across to Bormanis as Zinchenko takes a hit to make a play. Bormanis curling. We'll send it down low to Peavy in the corner. Peavy back up top, taken away by Millette, going for the empty net, and he scores! Reggie Millette from about 140 feet away, able to bounce that one into an open goal. And Port Huron now leads it 3-0. Now Parsons will dump it in off the face-off for Reggie Millette. That's goal number 13 of the season. This shot from Brockway gets blocked by Merrick Tortorelli. Can't clear on the first try. Ends up coming back to Bacon, who then will clear it all the way out and down. We'll get an icing call here on Indiana. So number 13 on the season for Reggie Millette. His fourth in the last 5 games and third against the Sentinels. And that pretty much puts a nail in this hockey game, as the Sentinels will wrap it around the wall. Bradburn helps that one get out to the neutral zone. Oregon going D to D. Chipped in deep by Marty. Kerr from in behind his net finds Bacon. His clearing attempt held in. Oregon at the blue line. Merrick Tortorella taking it away in the corner. His backhander knocked down by Anderson, who keeps the puck in. And he'll send it down deep. We approach the final minute of play here in period number 3. Merrick Tortorella over the Prowler logo in the neutral zone. He's able to get it into Prowler territory. Wrapped in behind the net, Favaro there. His clearing attempt, Terrain keeps it in at the blue line. That shot hits Anderson on its way through. Now Price just trying to kill off some time here and pin it up along the wall. Pops free to the middle of the ice. Heikkila will come out 2-on-2 with Johnson. Heikkila walking to the middle of the ice, shooting one, and a good right pad from Kerr. Able to knock that one away. Johnson now sending it right back down low. Lackney has it go over his stick. Bormanis on the far wall will chip it off the glass and out through center ice and down into Prowler territory, where Graham will control. Final 15 seconds of period number 3. Cleared out to the neutral zone. Lease unable to settle down a bouncing puck. Lackney will bring it in. And for Reed Cooper, his second shutout of the season, his 21st victory, and his first shutout against the Indiana Sentinels, as the Prowlers win this one by a final score of 3-0, as we get one more meeting here as the game comes to a close. Bormanis and Parsons having words with one another. But that's about as far as it will go as we welcome you to the Indiana Sentinels postgame show. The Prowlers come away victorious, 3-0 over the Indiana Sentinels on a wild hockey game that started with 3 fights in the first 3 seconds of the first period of play. The first one being between Richie Colarusso and Alex Johnson. And then on the ensuing face-off, another fight between Austin Federley and Noah Bradburn. And Bradburn is a lefty when he throws his punches, and Federley not ready for it, took one right on the chin. That dropped him. And just when you thought everything was all said and done, one more fight before we got underway with a hockey game, that one being between Seth Bacon and Ben Brockway, as they dropped the gloves and went toe-to-toe. That was, like I said before, really the only one where it kind of came out as a tie. The Sentinels, Colarusso and Bradburn winning their fights, and both guys in that final fight between Brockway and Bacon trading blows. We were scoreless through the first period. Sentinels playing extremely well in that period, especially shutting down the neutral zone. Got them some chances offensively where they outshot the Prowlers 11-5 in period number 1, but the second period, Port Huron turned things around in a big way. A 21-shot period, and they held Indiana to only 4 in the second period of play. And the only goals against Chris Kirk coming in that period, both via the power play variety. Lucas Lackney, pardon me, got a beautiful pass from Matt Graham as he tapped it home back door. Past Chris Kerr to make it 1-0. That was with 9:42 left to play in the second period, and then just before the period would end, 45 seconds left, another late period goal given up by the Sentinels. Jamie Bussell, all alone in the far circle, had time to not only settle down the puck but pick his corner, and he put that up over the glove of Chris Kerr to make it 2-0. And that's how we stayed through the third period. Even though the Sentinels had 2 power play chances, they were unable to get one home. The Prowlers had 2 power play chances in the third. Sentinels able to shut them down. And with an empty net, Sentinels trying to pick up as much offense as possible with under 3 minutes to go, pardon me. And with 2:07 left to play on the clock, a 140-foot shot from his own end by Reggie Millette found an empty goal to give the Port Huron Prowlers a 3-0 win. It is their 28th on the season. They now improve to 81 points overall on the year. Meanwhile, Indiana will fall to 10-28, 4-0. And they get ready to come back again tomorrow against these Port Huron Prowlers to try to salvage this one game out of this 2-game set, as the game tomorrow, as you can see here, is going to end up being, as it was today, a 7:05 puck drop Eastern time, meeting the Indiana Sentinels. Pre-game show will be at 6:45 Eastern time, so we hope to see you all there right back here at McMorran Place. You can watch all the action on the Sentinels Hockey Network. For everyone behind the scenes who made this all possible at the Ryan Furr production crew, Ryan Furr, Jordan Vickers, Thomas Voiles, Ethan Evans, Kristen Totten and company, we thank you for all of your efforts. Port Huron escapes with a 3-0 victory here on Friday night. We'll be back again tomorrow for the final game at McMorran Place in the regular season. My name's Andy Petzinger saying thank you for tuning in. We will see you tomorrow night. Good night, everybody.